Hi Carinya Ag friends. So doing on the roller today with the tractor, you'll see here. And one of the main reasons why we do rolling for lentils, as you can see here, if you look down and look nice and closely, you can see how the top of this ridge between the furrows is nice and flat. When we come along with the header to harvest these, because these don't grow like wheat, they grow up and they're kind of bushy, they don't get terribly high. So we need to get the front of the header down as low as possible to get as many lentils as possible off the crop. So obviously the lower to the ground it is, the more likely you are to dig the knives of the header into the ground, which can be a big problem and cause a lot of damage. So we use the roller, which is a really heavy rolling pin essentially, just to flatten things out a bit on these ridges between the furrows. So you can see here how it's really rough and it's more pointed than these ones over here, which have been compressed down. When we use the roller, we're not damaging the lentils because they're sitting nice and safely down in the furrows. They may get a little bit squished, but it's nothing that they won't recover from at this early stage of their growth. As always, to remember with our roller, it's not Robbins racing. You don't need to go fast. You're dealing with some very expensive equipment here, so just take it easy, don't rush, stay focused when you need to stay focused, i.e. when you turn at the ends and in tricky spots, but just take it easy, don't rush, don't turn too sharp, and it should be happy days. And you're going to make the life of your header driver so much better if you do a good job on the roller. Good morning. Today we're going to go through how to get the tractor started and how to start on the roller. So before you even get on the tractor and get started, you want to check everything. You want to make sure your tractor's fueled up. Make sure you know when the next fuel up's going to happen, who's going to be doing it, all of that. You want to go around on your tractor and the roller, making sure that everything's been greased up properly. We'll do a separate video on how that happens, but before you get going, I want to show you. Okay, for starters, we're going to be checking down here and here. We've got all of our pins in. We're going to do all of this on both sides. Checking your bearings at the ends here on these bits. Also going to check that these things are in and locked over that bar. If you don't do that, your roller's going to fall back and you're going to be in a spot of bother. So coming around here, your bearings at the end are all good. And we're going to move on. Okay, so you've checked everything outside, you've made sure everything's in order. The next thing you're going to do is to actually turn the tractor on. This one's already going, but I'll just run through how you do it, because if you turn it off, you've got to wait for everything to start up. So the first thing you'll do, put your foot down on this little pedal, and the steering wheel comes down. You're then going to turn your key, turns on just like a car. And then for a few minutes you are going to do nothing. You're just going to sit here, you're going to wait for all of the GPS and all of your programs, etc. to load up. Once these are loaded, you need to then check your hydraulic number 2, just to make sure it works. So I'm going to lift this up halfway, and if you look out the back, it lifts up the middle part of the roller. Like that, yeah? We don't want to drive like that, so we've checked it, we then put it back down. Just like that, yeah? It's working, no need to touch that again. We then are going to push this little button here to make sure that we colour everything in blue as we go, so we know what we've done and not done. And we're also going to turn our auto steer on here. Now, turn our video down, our radio down while we record. Next, we're going to make sure we have enough fuel on here, and we're going to we're going to keep an eye as we're driving on our radiator temperature. So the next step to actually get moving is we're going to move this bad boy up. This is our hare, this is our tortoise, so this is our revs, and we're going to put it up to about 1300, which we can see on this display over here. Always reminds me of an aeroplane about to take off. So next we want to put it in gear. So unlike a car, we don't have an accelerator, brake and clutch down the bottom, but we've still got a clutch and a brake. So our left foot goes down onto the clutch. Someone moves their boot out of the way. Clutch. And then if you look over here, this is our gear stick. So this is currently in park. We move it down to neutral, up and across, and slowly let it out. If you look across here, we're currently in 7th gear. We want to get up to 16. So if we look back onto the orange knob here, we just tap it forward all the way up until we get to 16. Now we're going to track along like this. We take it easy, we give the tractor time to get through it, there's no hurry. Now when we get to the end to turn around, we're going to drop it back to 13th gear, just making sure we go slow enough to turn around safely. And we also push this button, this turns on our auto steer. So we make sure, should have done that sooner. So you're making sure that you're on track, you're on line, and you're colouring everything in blue. Started? Alright, so we're coming to the end of our row, so we're going to start slowing down about now. So we're going to drop a gear, drop another gear. And the important thing to remember when turning around at the end is that you don't want to turn too sharply. 2 reasons. One, you don't want to jackknife your roller and your tractor because that's just expensive and messy and awkward. And also, you really don't want to smash your lentils into the ground. You want to make sure you're not ripping up the ground too much with your tractor wheels. We just turn, we get it roughly onto our white line on our screen, which I've overdone it there, and then we just hit our auto steer button, and that will bring the tractor back into line as to where we're going. And then over here we will just pick up our speed again with our gears. And that is how you turn.